All right, Virgo, welcome to your monthly horoscope for May of 2015. My name is Athen. So let's look at your chart this month. We've got the first major event happening this month on the 3rd. We've got the full moon here in your second house of the material elements of life, your values, your enjoyments, the sensual pleasures, the things you enjoy in life. This is on a more mundane level. It's finances, it's assets, it's the meal, the relaxation, everything you enjoy there on a material level. So you have a full moon here, which means that first of all, anything that you started in that second house relating to those things over the past 6 months when you had the new moon there can be a high point and a culmination point for you in that second house. Okay, it can also be a culmination point of the new beginnings that took place 2 weeks ago in your 8th house. You're still in this lunar cycle of your 8th house, which is about the true meaningful elements of life. It's about having healthy bonds, healthy connections, healthy relationships that are very deep, but a relationship with yourself that you're very transparent and open and vulnerable to see the truth, to see what's going on the inside, because it is a water house. So that's what this whole lunar cycle has been about. That's what the new moon has been. So with a full moon here, it's understanding what the simple pleasures of life are. There's these deep things within us, but there's also this vast enjoyment of earth and of the physical enjoyments and of abundance and things like this. So it's a high time for that. It's a culmination for that, and an understanding of both of these areas, of both what you enjoy on a deep level and also what you enjoy on a material level as well. So utilize that, reflect on it. The full moon is always an illumination time. It's also a culmination point, like I was saying. And as the moon starts to continue her transit over the next 2 weeks, things will still be very much about these deeper elements of life. But things are shifting this month, shifting into your 9th house, which is very transformative. Anytime a planet goes from the 8th to the 9th, it makes it very transformative energy. But the first aspect after this one is going to be on the 6th. We've got Venus going into your 10th house. So this is all about work and enjoyment and anything, it's like connecting to your work and enjoying your work. It's also making connections and relationships, one-on-one connections through your work. So enjoy the work, make your, have those connections, enjoy, those connections in that part of your chart. And any attention that you do put on that 10th house, career, work, legacy, public related things, I think you'll just find very enjoyable in general. So that's a nice energy that's going to be with you for the whole month from the 6th onward. Then on the 10th, this is where things really become transformative. Well, they already have been, actually, because Mercury already shifted into your 9th. So you're already thinking about the 9th house things, but now Mars on the 10th goes into the 9th. So Mars transforms. So whereas before in last month, you were very motivated by the deeper elements, right? And those healthy bonds and transparency and all that stuff. Now he transforms. He goes over the galactic center. He becomes more expansive. Okay, around the 10th, you probably feel this, where you're really inspired. Because the 9th house is the life path house. It's the house of expansion and of adventure. Mars loves to be at the top of the chart, by the way. So this is the expansion, all right, the adventure that Mars likes here. Going into it and expanding your horizons. So whether it's philosophy, whether it's doing some travel, whether it's connecting to people abroad, or astrology, or anything that's about divinity or spirituality, all these things that are about understanding more about your life in general, your life path, and what life is about. That's what all this is about for you. Mercury's your ruler, has already been there. So I think it's already been very much about these 9th house related things. I think you're thinking about it. But once Mars goes in there on the 10th, that motivation will certainly kick in, and there's going to be this sort of transmutation of your energy this month. Mars much more prefers to be in the 9th house than the more watery elements of the 8th. But for you, it's a little bit different than most other signs, because Mars was in dignity over here in the 8th, so it may have been very motivational for you, but it's definitely going to be more about the the larger life path stuff and philosophy, spirituality, travel, all that stuff for you, shifting this month. Because after that Mars transits, then on the 17th, we've got the new moon happening right on the cusp of your 8th house and your 9th house. Very, very close to that cusp. So you already had the new moon in the 8th. So sometimes we do have 2 new moons or full moons in the same house. So in this sense, because it's happening right on the cusp, this new moon is going to be a little bit about some more new beginnings relating to the 8th house, the deeper elements, the healthy bonds, which you've already understood, you've already transformed. And so it's balancing that with, as you can see here, the 9th house, the expansion, how to have that expansive view on the truth of life, on the deeper elements, to have that optimism, positive, adventurous spirit in terms of what's real. But that's what it's still about. That it's still about what's real, what's truthful, what's really going on. So it's a very interesting, very nice new moon for you. And theoretically, if you're looking at this in terms of the sky, this would be Scorpio, this would be Sagittarius, and this is where the galactic center is. So the galactic center relative to your chart, the way you cast it here, meaning in the house system, this is the same kind of energy too. So it's transformative. So I think a lot of you are very much transforming this month, like I was saying, but especially around the 18th, or excuse me, the 17th. So around the 17th, reflect on that. Reflect on these things because it's a new moon energy. And so it's always a time of where we want to go within, we want to reflect. And then as this moon starts to fill up in this lunar cycle and into June, more and more of this energy will be available for you to continue to pursue these 8th and mostly 9th house matters with all these other planets. But you're still very much motivated. There's still a lot of energy. Just make sure that on the 17th you're reflecting and really thinking about the internal elements of it. See where you want to go. See where you want to head in the next 30 days and 6 months of this particular area of your chart. Then on the 18th and 19th, very important day for you Virgos, we've got Mercury going retrograde in that 9th house of yours. So because it's your ruler, this is always a time where you do want to get introverted. You want to reflect. You want to go within for the next 3 weeks, see how things are going, and learn. Treat life as a learning process, especially with Mercury in the 9th house, which is about life path. So you're learning more about your life path. You're learning more about philosophy, spirituality, your connection to the higher realms, and everything that is about your adventurous spirit and life in general. And so Mercury retrograde, reflect on it, treat it as a learning process. Be willing to make changes here, to redo some things in any of those areas, because you want to take action. Mercury, especially being your ruler, Virgo, is very practical. You have to take action. You have to actually work with the energy, and so redo things, but do it so you're involved with it. Of course, be willing to make mistakes. Not that mistakes are going to necessarily happen. It's just that you want to keep it open so you can try new things, and if it doesn't work, then it's fine. You see, so that's how we want to utilize a Mercury retrograde, and that's how we learn the most during a Mercury retrograde as well. Then on the 20th, we have the Sun then shifting into that 9th house of yours. So that's when things become very passionate involving the 9th house matters. Okay, this is the Sun, so it always illuminates. So especially at the tail end of this month, there's a lot of understanding coming in regarding the travel, the life path, the expansion, all these 9th house related things. University too is also 9th house matter. Religion, priest, public speaking, when it's about sharing a message, sharing the oftentimes philosophical or spiritual messages. So whatever it is for you, the passion here is available. I mean, it's just going to be there, and this is where the passion is going to be for the next 30 days. Very enthusiastic, very aware too, because the Sun always illuminates. So where you had a lot of this illumination in the 8th, understanding about the deeper elements, now you're illuminating the expansive elements of life, you see. Then on the 27th, Mercury goes over Mars. Last time Mercury went over Mars was when that was in your 8th house, so you understood, I think, a lot about those deeper elements. But now, at the end of this month, you're understanding more about adventure and life in general and what motivates you. This is when you'll really understand what really motivates you about life and expansion and adventure. And then on the 30th, Mercury will then go over the sun, but since he's retrograde, he's in front of the sun, which means your mind will still be very sharp relating to these ninth things, but your passion can come through very strongly at that time as well. So all in all, a very strong emphasis on your ninth house this month, a little bit on the 10th. Enjoy the work and career stuff with Venus there, but very much about transitioning from the 8th into the 9th, and think about it, reflect on it, take action there with Mars there, and yeah, in that way you'll be learning during this Mercury retrograde, because that's the most important highlight for you. Reflect on it and start some new beginnings in that area too. All right, Virgo, well, I hope you guys have a fantastic month. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the website down below. If you'd like a personal reading looking at your personal charts, do get in touch. You can check the website for that also. And the weeklies. The weeklies are more detailed. This was a very general look at the month. If you'd like to look at the step-by-step of the aspects that are taking place this month, do check out the weeklies as well. All right, Virgo, have a good time. Talk to you next time. Take care.